So in 2020, I had some money saved up and I didn't work for a couple months, but I was about to land a new job. So I took myself on vacation. So I had this cup that said Ketchikan, Alaska, and it was just like a souvenir from like 1991 or something like that. And I was using that for my coffee cup for like 3 years now. And one day I just looked at it and I was like, yo, let's just go here. So I booked my trip, got my housing, got my car or whatever. And I literally like bought it for like in the next like 2 weeks. Like I just like I broke up with a guy that I was like on and off with, if you can say that, a situationship. And I was like, you know what, girl, let's take ourselves on a hot girl trip. Let's go to Alaska in the winter. And so I did that, and it was everything I wanted. It was so beautiful. I remember crying, bawling my eyes out when I got home, because I was like, oh my gosh, like I want to be in Alaska. That was the best experience ever. It was the Trinity, the quiet, the being surrounded by nature with wildlife, with just slow, simple living, and living off the land is something that I've always admired and wanted to do. And I knew that when I came back home that I wouldn't be in the city forever and I would have to come back, you know? So a year later, I was like, you know what? I have unemployment money. Like, I'm just going to use this on something I really want, which was buying my car. So I bought a car for $1,500, a Subaru Forester. And then I was like, cool. Now I have a couple more $100. Let's drive to Alaska. And I fit everything in that Subaru and went there. And it was really fun. I loved it. It was a 5-day trip. I went all the way to Fairbanks because I thought I wanted to go to Fairbanks in North Alaska and be hardcore. But it snowed the first day I got there, and I realized, I will settle for Southeast Alaska because that's where I went before in Ketchikan. So I was in Fairbanks for 2 days. I actually, on the way to Juneau, like literally was like drove in snow for the first time and like found myself in a ditch. My car was safe, everything was safe. Hey, look, a bear. First time seeing bears. It was really cool. I was a cub. But yeah, I stayed in Fairbanks for 2 days, and then I drove like 1,000 miles and took a ferry to oh my gosh, I forgot Canadian money when I was going through Canada and had to use change for a campsite. But yeah, so much pretty native art. But I got in Juneau in like 2 days. This was my last day of the trip, clearly on a little road trip high. There'd be like hours and kind of like a day that like I wouldn't be around people. It was pretty freeing. And yeah, so I'm from Washington, Tacoma, Washington, and it doesn't really like snow there much. It's only snowed like a handful of times in my lifetime. And I got to Alaska late September, so essentially like late fall, like early winter, and I got to experience my first winter, and it's exactly what I wanted. I worked as a barista in the winter at a local cafe downtown, the Rickery. It was cute. I worked a couple jobs, but that was my first job there. That was the glacier! There was a glacier, and it was so cool, and I used to always hang out there. But yeah, guys, the snow, I never experienced snow like that before. It was amazing. Like, it just like, you were just submitted to the snow, and it would be like feet, and it would be like snowing for like weeks. I mean, like no end, like day and night. And look, there was like these waterfalls, and they would freeze, and they would have the most crazy icicles. It was my first time being in Juneau, and it definitely was exactly what I was looking for. Just seclusion. There was 30,000 people. It's the capital of Alaska, and there's no road in, no road out. You have to get there by sea or air, and something about that was really special. It kind of sucks sometimes though, because it would be hard to get things that you wanted. Yeah, all winter I kind of just spent baking at home and cooking
and making art. And yeah, it really wasn't until it got warmer that I was able to like explore outside. So I had a lot of at-home time and just reflecting and journaling. And I would still go outside and watch the waterfalls and look at the icicles and just kind of like pray and be in the moment and just be grateful. But yeah, it was a really beautiful winter. So sad. I'm such a little weenie butt that I didn't do it 2 winters in a row. But, it was really nice, and I do love the snow, and I'm so happy that I got to experience the snow and the greatness of, everything that this earth has to bring, like real deep winter.
Some other things I did in the winter was skateboard, because they had like a indoor skate park, which was really awesome. It was wood and it was so smooth, and I loved it. I also rock climbed a lot because you have to do like indoor activities when it's 20 degrees out. That tree was full of eagles. There was eagles everywhere. Like you would see like 25 a day. Also ravens. Ravens would be like everywhere. Don't forget the northern lights. I saw the northern lights probably like 20 times that winter, 30. That was literally over the town. It was so gorgeous. Some nights everyone would be out watching them, but majority of the nights it would only be a couple people out watching them. And yeah, it's definitely an experience that like everyone needs to experience. It's captivating. It's crazy. It's just like it's moving in the sky, and the sky just feels so close. That's me building my first fire ever, feeling like a nature woman. But yeah, everyone kind of just hangs out and has like fires out all the time. It's really cool. And just shout out to all the native art happening over there. Like land back forever, man. I'm really, grateful and thankful that I was able to be on Tlingit and Haida land, and I definitely respect them and their culture. As it got nicer out, I got to explore more of Juneau and the trails, and it was really the most like beautiful thing. Like I would usually be on the trail alone, rarely would ever run into anyone, to be honest. Most of the tourists, those are the cruise ships that are huge that come into downtown. Okay, wait, this old playground was crazy. I literally saw a merry-go-round on a playground in Fairbanks, like literally super outdated, but I was so happy to find it. That's a cake I made with wildflowers. It was so delicious. But yeah, in the summer I worked full time as a bud tender. It was really fun. And then when I wasn't working, I was running around the trails, eating berries and talking to trees as I do. And yeah, it was the salmon berries and the blueberries were double the size that they are in Washington. And I like dried the salmon berries, which is pretty funny, but they were really nice to have in the fall. And I'm just dreaming about them now. Oh, and those teeny little strawberries. Oh my gosh, some of them taste like pineapple and banana. Like, I don't even know how to explain that, but man, the water, everything. I love you, Alaska. So I did the most dirtbag move ever and moved in my car the last month because I didn't want to renew my lease, but I also didn't want to leave just quite yet. Look at that beautiful barn owl I saw. Because I was living in my car, I was, if I worked full time, but when I wasn't working, I was in my car, and it really just let me be closer to nature. Like when I saw that, what was it? I think it was like a horned owl or something. When I saw that owl, like I was like, you know what? I'm really happy I'm living in my car so I could just see that, like, because I was just parked at night. There was one time I was sleeping in my car at this like pull off out the road, and this lady is like right by my car and screaming with her kids, "Oh my gosh, look, a whale!" And I like wake up and they're like, "Oh my gosh," they saw I was sleeping in my car. They're like, "Sorry." But it was super funny because I was like woken up by people being like, "Wow, there's a whale outside." And then
I was like, rubbing my eyes, waking up, and a bear walked up after the people left. A bear walked up when I was sitting in my car and looked at me and then just like ran away. Like I was so quiet. A bear walked up on me. But, I loved living in my car. I just got to be even closer to the land, eh? Yeah. I know it's so stereotypical to say, but all good things come to an end, and yeah, there was pluses and minuses about living there, but moving to a very secluded town without knowing anyone at 24 was pretty outrageous and kind of unnecessary to do on my own. And I missed seeing familiar faces from the people that I grew up with. So I was ready to come back home. And so I did. And it was such a gorgeous ride coming back home. I love driving through Canada. I'm not gonna lie though, I do kind of regret leaving so soon. I think maybe saying 2 years would have been more appropriate because I actually really loved my job as a bud tender and wished I tried harder at that. But whatever, I believe in the journey. Oh, yeah, I left on the full moon. So there's that. And here's to life. Bye.